The Banish 22 from Silencer Central. Let's check it out. Guys, there's nothing more fun than a 22 suppressor. I mean, they're just super quiet. There's no recoil. I mean, they're just a lot of fun. And today we're going to take a look at the Banish 22. Now, this is from Silencer Central. These are multi-caliber suppressors with 22, 22 Magnum, 22 short, any of your 17 HMR or other 17 calibers, also 22 Hornet, but one that I'm really looking forward to is 5.7 by 28. And so you have a lot of capability with this really small, lightweight suppressor. Now there's a 40 to 42 decibel reduction, so it really just sounds like a pellet gun. And it's according to the rounds you use. If you use some subsonics, it's going to be really quiet. If you use more supersonic, it's still going to be hearing safe. Now we're going to get into the details of the suppressor. One of the things about the Banish 22 is that it is so easy to disassemble and to clean. Another thing is it is super lightweight, very small, and yet it's very capable. Now, Silencer Central's been around since 2005, and they are the largest suppliers of suppressors in the country. The great thing is they handle everything, and you can do it right there online. And we're going to talk about the process a little bit. Guys, it is super simple. One of the things a lot of times when you're dealing with any kind of Class 3 or NFA items is it can be complicated, and there are times that you have to wait. Silencer Central makes it super easy. And we really appreciate Silencer Central for sending the Banish 22 and for partnering with the Suits channel. Guys, this thing is 4 ounces and it's tiny. Now we're going to get into a few details about the suppressor itself, what to expect. Of course, this is the box. It's a pretty nice box, actually. So we're going to open it up. There's a foam cover, have instructions, and we have our Silencer Central sticker. Of course, here is the Banish, and this is the 22. Man, it is tiny. I love it. And then we have a disassembly tool, and I'll show you how that works. Now, the suppressor is 4.1 ounces. It is super lightweight. Sometimes when you have suppressors, they're a little heavy on the end. This, you hardly notice it's there. It's 5.38 inches in length, and it's an inch diameter, so about the size of a decent sized flashlight. We have knurling right here on the breech cap, and so we're going to go ahead and just unscrew it, and it makes it really simple. You know which end to put on your muzzle. What I love about this is that not only can you take this end off, and we're going to look at it in a second, you can take the end cap off. So it just leaves the tube. Now this is 100% titanium. Everything is very lightweight, and we're just going to release our baffles. These are very simple. Again, these are titanium as well. We have 8 baffles, and these are called K baffles. And it's a system that purges dirt out through the ports, and it makes it really easy to clean. Now, go ahead and stack these up. They're all identical until you get to the last one. Now 7 of the baffles are identical, but the one that goes toward the end of the suppressor is a little bit different. It's a little shorter, and so that way you know which one to put toward the end. You'll notice these little cuts, and the gases actually, it allows them to flow out when they're coming through, and that is part of the sound suppression, so it makes it super quiet. Then when it comes to the end cap, you can take your tool here, or you can actually take the other end, and it has that same shape if you happen to be in the field and you need to take off the end cap for your suppressor. But either way, you don't really have to take both of them off. But this makes it really easy. And then once you get it to a certain point, you can just unscrew it. And there is your end cap. So a very simple system. This is probably aluminum, but the rest of it is definitely titanium. There is a gun coat finish. It's a nice gray. It is a Cerakote finish. I'm sure it's high heat. One thing about cleaning these is they can be cleaned in ultrasonic, but you can use just standard solvents to keep these clean. And with 22, that is going to be an issue that you're going to have to take care of because 22 rimfire is very dirty. But you do not want to put your tube in your ultrasonic, anything that's covered with the Cerakote finish. But one thing they say is because of the way that these are designed, your tube is not going to get super dirty. You can usually just take a nylon brush and kind of clean through it. You don't really have to have any special considerations as far as just getting these clean. Guys, they are like incredibly lightweight. Now for reassembly, your end cap goes on the longer end. You'll notice that there's a rise right here and there's one at the back, and it's fairly short at the back. So we're going to go ahead and take our end cap, and you start that with fingers and just go ahead and get it down. Makes it a lot easier. And then when you get it to a certain point, you can do it now or you can wait till you get your baffles in. Now this is a very important part. Here we have an indexing tab. You'll notice this little line. And so we want to line up all of these together when we stack our baffles. Now you just want to mate those lines up together. It does not have to be perfect. They can just be in the general vicinity. But one thing about it is you're going to have less sound suppression if you don't have these lines lined up. You can just put them in random and it'll still have sound suppression, but this gives it optimum sound suppression. Now once we get the 7 in, the last one goes at the end. And so go ahead and place it in. There's no indexing mark on the last one, but you can line it up with the others just from the back. Next, take your tube, just go right down all the way through. Of course, you can set these on the table and just go straight down. And now we're locked in. Take our breech cap and we're going to just screw it in. Threads are very fine, but really easy to lock in. Again, you want to go to that front plug. If you've unscrewed it, you just want to make sure that it's good and tight. You don't want to hear any noise. Everything should be flush, and this is the way it goes. Now the Banish 22 gives you a 40 to 42 decibel reduction, and it gets it down to about 110, 120 decibels. And of course, that's according to what you're using. If you're using subsonics, it's going to get it down even more, and we're going to test some different loads out. One of the things when you get into subsonics is if you're using a semi-automatic, it may not function, but at least you can have a single shot, and we'll test that out as well. And of course, this is 1/2 by 28 threads for your 22. When they say multi-caliber, we have 22 Magnum, 22 long rifle, 22 short. We have 17 WSM, and we have 17 HMR. Also, we have 5.7 by 28. And it also will shoot 22 Hornet, which we don't have. Now obviously there's a number of different choices when it comes to some of this ammunition, so really you're going to have to test it out to see what load works best. This is actually Agula 22 subsonic. But sometimes with subsonic you can have feeding issues with semi-automatic pistols or rifles. So again, you'll want to test out what ammo works best. Now we've got a number of pistols first that we're going to shoot, and this is the Browning Buckmark. It's got the Tactical Solutions barrel on it. This is a great little gun. The Mark IV Light by Ruger, 2245, and then the Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7. Now we will be shooting some 5.7 by 28, and this is their subsonic ammunition from Fiocchi. Also we have some standard velocity Fiocchi in 22. We have some quiet 22 auto with a CCI, and then we have some subsonic solid points with Agula. Now we have the Volkortsen VT2. This is in 22 Magnum, and we also have it in 17 HMR. These barrels are interchangeable. So they are threaded, so we're going to shoot each one respectively. And in 22 caliber, we have one of the ENVs or NVs. This is Volkortsen as well. It is in pistol form, but this is very similar to your 1022, but just upgraded big time. Now you need a threaded barrel if you're going to get a suppressor. And one of the things that Silencer Central does is they do threaded barrels. You send it to them, they send you a prepaid package, they thread the barrel, they ship it right back to you. Or the gun for that matter. So instead of going out and buying a gun with a threaded barrel, you can send it to Silencer Central, especially if you have one you particularly like. But it's always a good excuse to go out and buy another gun. We're going to start out with Fiocchi. This is just standard velocity 22 long rifle. We're going to be shooting it in the buck mark. We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo. All made in the USA, one of the biggest suppliers of ammunition in the country. We will be shooting some other subsonic and some different types, which we just don't have from Fiocchi at this point, but we will be getting. We're going to take 3 shots without the suppressor, and then we're going to put on the Banish 22 and just see if we can tell the difference. Now I'm real curious about the 5.7. This is the Fiocchi and this is the subsonic, and so we're going to see how it works. And of course the Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7, great firearm. So just really looking forward to seeing the difference. We're going to shoot a few rounds without the suppressor, and then we'll shoot with the suppressor. Now we're going with the Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7 without the suppressor. All right, the M&P is just having some issues with the subsonic. It's probably not enough to function the cycle, but we're going to go ahead and put the suppressor on it and see what kind of sound difference we get. That's funny, it worked with the suppressor on it. It does tame the recoil. Brings the noise down, but it tames the recoil as well, even though there's not a bunch of recoil in these firearms. Now we're going to go with the Volquartsen Envy, ENV. This is in 22 long rifle without the suppressor. A little bit longer barrel, but not a lot longer on the Envy. But man, that is just so sweet to shoot, and it's hearing safe. Now honestly, it's okay. It doesn't hurt your ears when you're shooting it. But it's definitely a lot louder. But again, there's no discomfort, but you can tell that it's really loud. All right, we got 17 HMR, and we're going to test it out. I'll tell you, this VT2 from Volquartsen, I mean, I can just switch the barrels out really quickly. This is a really cool system. It's hearing safe, but actually it's a little sharper than 22 Magnum, but it's more piercing. But it's still very easy to shoot, and especially if you're hunting, I mean, this makes a great option to save your hearing. We have some Aguila, or some like to call it Aguila. This is a subsonic, and we're just going to see how quiet it is and if it will function the buck mark. Beautiful, beautiful. That is less than a pellet gun, or at least it sounds like it. Guys, we've shot quite a bit out here, and it's just a little warm. So we're going to keep going. This is the Ruger Mark IV Light, and it's the 2245. Just one hiccup with the Agula Subsonics, so not bad. That was just the first round. We have 3 rounds of Agila Subsonic, we have 3 rounds of CCI Quiet 22, and then we have 3 rounds of Fiocchi standard velocity ammunition. So we're just going to see what the difference is. Make sure it's not malfunctioning, just see how it goes. Honestly, I couldn't tell much difference. Even with the standard velocity, it was quiet. This is a pretty sweet little gun. And this is an awesome little suppressor. The Banish 22 runs $4.99. You pay a $200 tax stamp. They do have some pay-as-you-go type methods. You might want to check that out. Since you've got to wait typically about 8 months. That's what it's typically running now. That changes. But, you know, before long, it's out of jail, it's in your hands, it's ready to go, and it's well worth the wait. We've shot a lot of 22 suppressors, and suppressors in general, and this is a really quiet 22 suppressor. I mean, super quiet. And guys, it's just a lot of fun, and again, your neighbors may love you again if you shoot in the backyard like I do. All right, we shot a bunch. A lot of calibers, and shot quite a bit of all of it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what it's going to look like after you have a range day. It was just a little tough coming off of the rifle, but not bad. Okay, a lot right at the end. So all of these, this is where all the carbon and all the gunpowder and lead, it gets in this area. And this is what traps it. And one of the things they say is the tube doesn't really get that dirty. So this is really where the dirt is. And it's inside and out. Now, obviously an ultrasonic cleaner would be awesome. We're going to take some MC. This is Shooter's Choice, and I got this from Otis. And Otis is one of the sponsors of the channel. But this is bore cleaner, removes copper, lead, and fouling. And that's one of the things that Silencer Central says is it really doesn't take any special tools. Now I was going to demonstrate cleaning, but we're going to wait because that's just going to take too much time for this video. It just really introduces the Banish 22. There's a ton of sources already out there. We'll do that in another video. Guys, the Banish 22, what a great little suppressor. And I mean, it is so lightweight, very small, you hardly know that it's on the end of your muzzle. And whether you go with handgun, rifle, no matter what caliber, and again guys, Silencer Central, been in business almost 20 years. Just gives you a lot of versatility and really just makes picking up a quality suppressor just very easy. And we really appreciate Silencer Central for their partnership and for sending the Banish 22 for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. The one suppressor, okay, and it's the, they don't have to be perfect. Okay. Now you can use subsonics, you can use even hypersonic, you can use supersonics. Okay, you can use whatever you want to use. 17 HMR, 17 WMS, WSM, all the paperwork. You get a free, okay, I don't want to go into that bull crap yet.